Hello? Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah. Okay. No, I don't want your baloney. No, I told Grandma. Yeah, I told her already to milk the cat. What do you mean the cat's report card came back blue? I told her to go to culinary school. What do you mean they don't like cooking up rat stew? She's a cat, of course that's what she made. Yeah, well, Grandma, if you don't like it, then you're freaking mom. James told me no intro story, so let's just read the word. Romans 6:12-14, it says, "Let not sin therefore reign in your mortal body to make you obey its passions. Do not present your members to sin as instruments for unrighteousness, but present yourselves to God as those who have been brought from death to life, and your members to God as instruments for righteousness. For sin will have no dominion over you, since you are not under law, but under grace." And so we are finishing our series on Now What? And so the heart behind this week, between tonight and also on Sunday, is on our focus shifting, and that we now undergo the permanent process of sanctification. That is a big word. It's a big word. But sanctification implies the process of us being made holy or different. It is the process of us reflecting Jesus over time. Because you don't just accept Jesus and then, boom, you're a super Christian. It takes a while. It takes time, and it's a process. An important process. One of the most important processes you can ever go through. But it's a process nonetheless. And open with this Romans 6 passage because it's where our focus shifts. Because I think how our focus shifts and sanctification kind of go hand in hand. And sanctification is a big word, and you're probably like, I don't care. But our focus as believers ultimately shifts. It goes from focusing on the present and the feelings and the blah of the world, and it shifts into an eternal focus of what Jesus has done for us, and we reflect that in our lives. And so, with that being said, once we have Jesus in our lives, sin has no more dominion on you. You're not under that anymore. You are now under God's grace. You are now under the grace that He showed via Jesus. And that is the most freeing thing we can ever be a part of. When we went through Romans, we talked as well about being enslaved instead of to sin, being enslaved to righteousness, to the law of the Lord, to God Himself. And that is ultimately what our focus shifts unto. Because regardless, pick whatever you're stuck in, because as low as it sounds, we're going to be stuck, okay? As long as we're stuck in these human bodies, we will have to eat. We will always be stuck in that. And so I bring up this example just in terms of pick your suck. Pick it. Would you rather pick living in the things that the world offers and being enslaved to the dominion of sin, or being enslaved to the will of the creator of the universe? It is really the decision we all get to make. And we can sit somewhere in the middle and say, oh, sometimes and maybe not, and I'll pick and choose. But there's no freedom in that. You're no longer under the law, but under grace, as those who have been brought from death to life, it says in verse 13. And then I want to jump to one more verse, which is Galatians 2:20, or 20 and 21, which says, "I have been crucified with Christ. It is no longer I who live, but Christ who lives in me. In the life I now live in the flesh, I live by faith in the Son of God, who loved me and gave Himself for me. I do not nullify the grace of God, For if righteousness were through the law, then Christ died for no purpose. And what does this tell us? This tells us that we still do live a life in the flesh, but while we are still in our fleshly bodies, we live by faith instead. And so there's this sort of intrinsic tug-of-war of motives and of desires once we accept Jesus. And it's so hard. It is. And that will be continuous. It will. It will continue on, this sort of struggle to continue to live in faith despite being in our flesh. But that's what we're ultimately called to. We are called to have a focus shifting sort of mindset and mantra because of everything he did for us. Because of everything he did for us. And with this being said, in light of our focus shifts, we're called to remember. We're called to remember. We're called to remember all the things that God did for us in the continuous story of the Bible story. We are called to remember what Jesus did for us in his sacrifice and atonement and giving us direct connection with the said creator from the Bible narrative. And then we're called to remember what he's done in us. And this focus shift is what keeps us going. It's what inspires us to get out of the mud. It's what inspires us to pursue this path of sanctification continually, is what he did for us. It's the least that we can do going forward. So in summary, what am I saying that y'all should do? What am I saying that we all should do, really? Is that we should take this process seriously, and we should take it honestly, and we should take it based on where we're at, and we should allow for God to change us, to renew us, and to continue to do so. And so we are all called to submit ourselves daily to his will in order for us to be made more like him.